Do you know how 93% of millionaires made it? Yes, you guessed it. Real estate has made 93% of the world's millionaires. Now, I'll bet a lot of you out there have heard that stat in some shape, form, or another, but maybe you've just never been shown the proof. Well, how would you like to see hard evidence that proves once and for all that real estate absolutely crushes other investment vehicles? Well, hang tight. I'll show you the proof in just a bit here. Now, just imagine what it would be like if you actually knew the insider secrets that the very wealthiest real estate investors use to get ahead. Listen, they're no smarter than you. They just have better information which gives them the confidence to jump quickly when opportunity comes knocking. Now, what if you could peer into your crystal ball and you could see where and when the next Canadian real estate boom tidal wave is going to hit before it actually happens? Wouldn't that be crazy? Well, hang tight. We're going to show you how easily you can do just that and ride this next boom wave all the way to the bank. And why now is the perfect timing for you to cash in. Now imagine if a $29,800 cash investment could make you $67,000 in profits in just 5 years. That's a 43% per year cash on cash return. And imagine if it was totally passive income for you because all the heavy lifting was done for you. Well, you are about to discover a great investment opportunity so you can get right in front of the next boom wave. Hi, my name's Joe Rickards, founder of Worldwide Luxury Homes Group. I'm a best-selling author. I've been featured on networks such as Fox, talking about my passion, which is helping real estate investors fast-track their success. And I do that by drilling down hard and researching and bringing them well-positioned, positive cash flow real estate located, this is key, in cities that are poised for rapid growth in front of the next boom cycle. Now, before we get going here, I just wanted to thank you for investing your precious time and energy to be here on our webinar with us today. I know there's many other important things that you could be doing right now, but as the great Hollywood director Woody Allen said, 80% of success in life is simply showing up. So give yourself a pat on the back. Seriously, because you chose to be here right now. You are obviously committed to your success, and that is going to make all the difference in your world. By the end of our time together, you will discover the number one insider secret of the very wealthiest real estate investors. You will discover 3 top roadblocks that unfortunately stops most real estate investors dead in their tracks and stops them from ever getting ahead. Most importantly, how you can break through these obstacles and dominate as a real estate investor. You will discover where and when the next Canadian real estate boom is going to hit, according to leading independent researchers. In fact, the boom is well underway in this city, so you definitely want to stay tuned and find out which city this is. And finally, you will discover how you can easily invest in passive, turnkey, positive cash flow condos in the top Canadian city to buy now. Now, as our thank you for investing your invaluable time with us here today, we're going to offer you a free bonus gift at the end of the presentation. So stay tuned. You do not want to miss out on this. Now, I just wanted to highlight that although this gift, the cost is $564, which you're being comped on as our gift, like I said, but I just want to point out that the real value to you is absolutely huge if you go out and act on this information. I mean, you'll see. At the end of this thing, you'll totally agree with me. Okay, now before we jump into the how part of learning to surf these big boom waves, I think it's really important to talk to you about what you do not want to do. And the best way I know how to do that is to tell you a little bit about my story so you can learn from my costly mistakes. Well, when I first got started investing in real estate, I unfortunately did what the masses predictably do. I missed the boom wave, and then I still tried to catch it. Are there any surfers in the audience out there? Well, if you're a surfer, you know that if you miss that sweet spot on the big wave when she's coming up, you've got to let her go by. I mean, if you try to jump on her and ride her, you will get hurt, and that's pretty much guaranteed. Well, the same concept applies in real estate investing. Now, we were at the height of the 1990s BC boom, and I got caught in the hype. I tried catching the big wave anyways. I bought property after property, all the while thinking, I was so smart and I was going to make it big, right? Well, life had a lesson or two to teach me. And one of life's lessons is that by the time everybody and his dog is making easy money in real estate, like your brother, your mother, your friends, even your neighbors are all bragging about how much their property's values went up. Well, when that happens, you've missed the wave, my friends. It's too late. And by the time that happens, you've got to wait on average about 7 more years before the next wave hits that city. And here's the thing about missing the boom wave. To the untrained non-surfer eye, this surfer here looks like he's just about to catch this wave, doesn't he? When in reality, he's missed the sweet spot. And this is his painful ride down. So what I'm saying here is that if you miss the wave, but you still get caught up in all the hype of the boom, like the masses and many other non-educated real estate investors do, and even some sophisticated ones do, it can happen to anyone, and you still try to catch the wave by buying properties anyways, even though you've missed the wave, then what I'm saying is that's a long fall when that correction or that bust inevitably hits. And chances are really good that you're going to get hurt. Ask me how I know that. The other way that you can mess it up as a real estate investor is to fail to do your research, which typically leads you down that garden path to buy properties in the wrong city at the wrong time where there's no boom in sight. Ask me again how I know that. Because this frozen surfer dude here, he's me when I first got getting going into real estate. When I bought my first couple dozen properties without strategy, without focus, and without knowing this valuable information. And so I can tell you from first-hand experience that if you buy in the wrong city at the wrong time, you'll be waiting a very long time for that boom wave. Like me here, I literally froze waiting for that wave. I mean, after 5 years, 8 years, 9 years waiting for that wave, you start to second-guess yourself thinking, it's never going to come to my city where I chose to buy real estate, right? Or worse yet, your day may never come because not all towns and cities ever boom. I mean, if you buy in the wrong place, it might never boom. And you might be just sitting in these frigid cold waters waiting for a boom that may never come. So let me tell you where I screwed up so you can make sure that you don't make the same costly mistakes that I made, right? I did not do the research. I also bought in the wrong city that was not poised for a boom. There was no indications. The boom wasn't underway, and you got to wait for the boom to actually have started. Now, do you want to know the price I paid for making these big mistakes? Well, the city is Prince George, British Columbia. Unemployment rates went to 23%, and vacancy rates hit 25%. Yikes, right? My properties actually went upside down on me, which means that the mortgage was greater than the value of the property. I mean, I would have to write a check to the bank to sell a property. Yikes, right? Well, thank God I didn't sell. I'll tell you the rest of the story. The other thing is I had to manage tenants, toilets, and trash. Do that whole thing and hang on for a decade of managing all these headaches, right? Well, there is good news and there is a silver lining to this rather depressing story of mine so far. Even though I messed up big time buying my first properties, I did a couple things right which saved my bacon at the end of the day. I had the good sense to make sure that I only bought positive cash flow properties, which allowed me to hang on during those tough times while waiting for that boom to hit, right? I got to tell you, like I say, after a decade of waiting, I didn't think it was ever going to come, right? Start second guessing yourself. But guess what? That Prince George boom tidal wave did hit in the early 2000s to mid 2000s. And yep, I rode that puppy all the way to the bank. And I also bought a bunch more properties in Prince George because by that time, after a decade, I was quite seasoned and I could see the boom was a-coming, right? So I did do very well in Prince George, but it could have turned out differently. Now, here's where my story gets super exciting for you. It wasn't until many years later that I discovered that real estate moves in predictable boom and bust cycles. And now I always spend a ton of time doing the research myself before I ever buy real estate anywhere. And then one day I was doing some research on a particular city and I got curious and I thought to myself, I wonder how much I actually made in boom times versus, waiting out my 2 decades of stagnant, market. So I crunched the numbers, and what I found was astounding. I was absolutely blown away to find out that I made 73% of my wealth during just 4 boom years, compared to 2 decades of hassles and headaches self-managing hundreds of tenants, right? I got so excited, not because of my realization that I had done it the hard way, but because I knew then that this meant that it was a secret shortcut to wealth creation through real estate. And what I'm here to tell you is that you can do the very same thing too. Now, I don't want to spoil the surprise for you coming up, but I will whet your appetite by saying that when you study all the past Canadian booms, you'll find that they all follow this predictable, proven cycle. And what I mean is that now by knowing this, what you're going to learn coming up, you can stack the deck for your success, buying in cities that you can actually see firsthand that the boom has already begun. That's what I'm saying here. Okay, now earlier I promised to give you absolute concrete proof that real estate crushes other investment vehicles, right? Well, here goes. We're going to take a look at Canadian real estate performance versus stocks. Now we're going to take a look at both Canadian and US stocks to give us a better idea here. We got 3 time periods here, 5 years, 10 years, and a 20-year period here. So we're going to take the first look first here at this darker blue bar graph, which is Canadian real estate, with a 1-to-1 leverage ratio, which means you put $100,000 cash down if you buy a $100,000 property. Okay, so no mortgage financing, 1-to-1 leverage ratio. Then let's take a look at the lighter blue bar graph here. That represents the same Canadian real estate performance, but with a 50% leverage ratio this time. So you buy the same $100,000 property, but instead of putting $100,000 down, you only put $50,000 down. Look what happens to the return. Boom! It doubles to 23%. That showcases and highlights the power of leverage right there. The more you ratchet up that leverage, the better your cash-on-cash return. It's really that simple. That is predominantly the reason why real estate outperforms other investment vehicles. And the most common one is equities, right? And most people, they're going to put their money in that they save in a year. They're going to put it in mutual funds or an RSP or maybe buy another property, at least real estate investors. So that's typically the decision that they have to make. Where do I put my funds? So hopefully this clears it up for you. Now, we're not done yet. How much do Canadian real estate investors put down? They put down 20%, right? Not 50% or 100%. So we got to compare apples to apples to be fair about this, right? So for the first 5-year return period, we're looking at, it takes 23% return when you're using 50% down. It bumps that up to 37% cash-on-cash return per year, okay? The next time period, which is a 10-year return, it bumps it up to 39% cash-on-cash return annually. And finally, the 20-year period here, we're looking at 1985 to 2005, we're looking at a Canadian average performance of 28% ROI. So 28%, not bad, right? I just want to highlight as well that I love this time period here, 85 to 2005, because it incorporates one of the greatest corrections that Canadian real estate has ever had, since the Great Depression anyway, in the early 80s. But it also has a 5-year boom period in here from 2000 to 2005. Those were all boom years. So it's very, in stats, what we call representative, or it has a high confidence interval. In other words, this data is very accurate, is what they tell you. Now I'd like to turn it over to my partner in crime, John Schwetz. John, take it away.
Hey everybody, just thought I would introduce myself since we'll be spending the next hour or so together. So, my name is John Schwetz. Now, at just 21, I founded a successful luxury car import business, and my passion for cars still runs deep in my veins. After taking some rich dad training at the age of 24, I took that leap of faith and quit my job to become a full-time real estate investor. In just a couple months while living in my parents' basement, I did my first 3 deals with no money and no credit, and I've never looked back. Now, 3 years later and over 30 successful deals, I'm living my passion, helping people get ahead by investing in select real estate that is poised for a growth cycle. Alright, so let me tell you who we are not. We are not financial advisors or people with crystal balls. Although we are 100% transparent and aim to provide our clients with as much information as humanly possible to make an informed decision, all the numbers are estimates based on a combination of facts and assumptions, not guarantees. And we always recommend to all investors that they do their own due diligence before making any investment decisions. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, just imagine what it would be like if you actually knew the number one insider secret that the very wealthiest real estate investors use to get ahead. They're not any smarter than you, they just have better proven information which allows them to know when to act and gives them the confidence to jump quickly when opportunities present themselves. Wealthy real estate investors buy early in boom times. Now, I'll bet you're thinking, sure, easier said than done. Are you saying the rich have a crystal ball? Well, no, of course not, but they definitely do things differently and don't follow the herd. Now, here's the big secret. They study the key signs that reveal that a boom is on the horizon. And history shows us that we can predict when the next real estate boom cycle will hit with startling accuracy. In the past, places that had huge booms had most or all of these things going for them. You need to make sure you see these signs before you invest in real estate anywhere. So they are job growth, dropping unemployment rates, population growth, dropping vacancies and increasing rents, major transportation development, large public infrastructure, a robust economy in neighboring areas, political policies that encourage private investment, and of course, large private investments. So guys, why invest in Alberta? Well, after living in BC for a few years myself, I can relate to a lot of other provinces when it comes to higher tax and unfavorable landlord laws. With Alberta, however, this just isn't the case. It has so many great things going for it. No property transfer tax. This saves you a ton of upfront money when buying and selling properties. Guys, the rules favor the landlords. And landlords, you're going to love this one. You can raise the rent if the market bears it. There's no rent controls. Alberta also has the highest level of housing affordability in all of Canada for condos, single-family homes, and attached housing. Alright, so the tar sands pipeline boom. The industry has announced the intention to build more than 10,000 miles of pipelines at a cost of almost $40 billion over the next 5 years to send an additional 3.1 million barrels a day of crude oil from Canada's oil sands to global markets. So there's tons of pipelines and expansions planned or already underway in Alberta. This gives us a huge potential for worldwide distribution. Alberta is home to the second largest oil reserves in the world, with approximately 127 billion in local oil sands investments. Alberta's proven oil reserves are 174 billion barrels, and at today's $98 per barrel value, it's worth a huge $17 trillion today. So guys, all of Alberta's industries are on the rise. Now, Alberta's economy is more dependent than ever. And of course, we're talking about oil and gas. But today, Alberta is experiencing level activities that rival 2006 to 2008, which is exciting news. It's Alberta's major economic driver. One of the biggest factors influencing the huge GDP growth is the huge boom in the oil sands. So, production more than doubled from 600,000 barrels per day in 2000 to 1.3 million barrels per day in 2009. All city centers around these patches are experiencing a massive inflow of people and jobs just to support this growth. Interesting thing is, housing prices almost always follow GDP growth. Now, Alberta has the second largest oil reserves in the world. And one of the reasons Alberta's oil sands are so attractive is look at some of these other countries with oil. Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Venezuela, they're all pretty politically unstable, which makes it extremely difficult for companies to mine these resources. Canada is one of the safest places in the world to do business. So, with over 290 billion in oil sands investments current and planned, will oil continue to drive Edmonton's future? Well, I can tell you this, over 290 billion is being invested by major corporations into oil production. Like they wouldn't be doing this unless they're investing for the long term. The oil industry isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and if anything, it's just going to continue to expand. Now, this is the future impact from oil sands development and investment in Alberta. So the first one over here, the purple graph, it shows the initial investment in the construction phase at $200 billion to the GDP. What is interesting is in this future forecast, the initial investment is projected to bring back well over 7 times what was originally invested into it, or over $1.4 trillion. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the oil sands are totally sustainable and that our future is bright. And the purple graph over here shows that there's over 1 million workable hours being created in the investment or construction phase of the oil sand. And again, over 5 times the employment is returned once the oil sands are actually operational. So right now they are just building these huge developments, but the real activity is going to happen once they are up and running. So guys, Alberta's boom is just getting started. So some people might ask, how long can Alberta's boom last? But I mean, looking at this chart, you need to wonder if there's one thing you need to be conservative about. Are they just going to find a bunch of oil and then leave the next day? This right here is the capital expenditures curve, which will come to an end around 2025. But remember the last slide, the major contribution to GDP is that there is way more money in the operating of these projects than in the initial investment of them. So this, orange/purple line here shows that although eventually the construction phase is going to slow down, there's so much more money in the jobs and the actual operation of these plants and factories. You want to make sure there is long-term sustainability anytime you invest in an area. This shows corporations are in it for the long haul, and if anything, the province of Alberta will just continue to flourish. So this is a great index graph that shows throughout history, since 1981, housing prices traditionally follow GDP growth. As more people make more money, they want nicer and bigger houses. It is expected that with the GDP growth in Alberta right now, house prices will return back to their 2007 high, and it's anticipated that we will return to this high. It's already rising since the first time since 2006, and that's straight from the RBC economic analysts calling this the boom 2.0. So guess what, guys? Albertans are the richest Canadians. One of the reasons Alberta is booming is that on average, Alberta's GDP is $67,000 per person compared to Canada at only $45,300. So the people that live here have 48% more income than the average Canadian. You can also bet that this is just one of the reasons driving so many people to move and find jobs here. Now, this chart shows the unemployment rate and incomes across a number of major Canadian and other world cities of similar size. The further up the city is on the chart, the more income they make. And the further left, the less unemployment and more jobs they have. I mean, look where some of these other major Canadian cities are, like Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal. They all have lower incomes and higher unemployment. But why? Well, might be the Alberta tax advantage. Part of the reason Albertans have a lot more disposable income is the huge tax advantage. This chart shows that for a 2-family income of $75,000 with 2 children, the tax rate is more than half almost anywhere else in Canada. Alberta's personal tax advantage results from a low single rate tax system, including the highest basic and spousal exemptions in the country. Just so you know, these numbers include provincial sales tax, gasoline tax rate, healthcare premiums, payroll tax, and provincial income tax. I mean, look at it compared to BC. BC isn't even that bad, and it's still 78% higher than Alberta. And as if this wasn't already awesome news for Alberta, Alberta businesses also have the lowest overall business taxes in Canada, a huge factor in increased job growth. So guys, Alberta versus the world. Check this out. Compared to the entire world, Alberta is tied second for the highest standard of living in the world. No wonder so many people are moving here. So let's focus on this just a little bit closer. So Edmonton is the number 3 highest prosperity city in the world. Basically, Edmonton and Calgary are the top 3 highest prosperity cities in the world. And what is interesting is that another major oil town is number 2, good old Dallas, Texas. And this just reiterates the fact that Alberta is some of the most prosperous cities in the world. So, as you may guess, what are we talking about, guys? Well, welcome to Edmonton, everybody. It's a city that embraces its future. With 162 billion, yes, with a big old B, planned investments, it's a city that actually cares about its future. So, it's got the largest urban green space in North America. Alberta's capital city has 1.16 million people. It's got 70 golf courses, 3,500 restaurants. With over 30 festivals each year, Edmonton is known as Canada's Festival City. Edmonton is a research and innovation hub with billions spent on carbon capture research alone. It's a global leader in recycling. Edmonton has 130 billion in assets under management. It has over 100,000 students in 9 world-class post-secondary institutions, doing 500 million in research projects, and billions are planned on campus expansions. Edmonton is home to Canada's fastest-growing major airport, and Edmonton's City Infrastructure Renewal Program is spending a mammoth $9 billion between 2006 and 2014. So guys, what are the top 10 reasons Edmonton's future is so bright? We want to know why it is a great place to live, because that's also what makes it a great place to invest. So KPMG's 2012 Competitive Alternative Study ranked Edmonton as the third most cost-competitive city with a population under 2 million in North America. Edmonton was Canada's top-performing economy in 2011 according to the Brookings Institution, and Edmonton's City Infrastructure Renewal Program is spending $9 billion between just 2006 and 2014. Edmonton ranked second highest in Canada after Toronto on CIBC's 2011 Metropolitan Economic Activity Index. The Conference Board of Canada rates Edmonton's economy as highly diversified, even more than Toronto or Calgary. Top 10 best Canadian city that attracts the most talented young workers. So Edmonton is a top 10 smartest city by Maclean's magazine. The Edmonton region has 30 billion in recently completed, planned, or underway capital projects. And Edmonton has the highest standard of living in Canada, that's by Stats Canada, and the third highest in the world. So Edmonton had Canada's largest population growth, 11.2% between 2006 and 2011. It just exploded to 9% in 2011. Now, even through the Great Recession, Edmonton still had the largest population growth. Wow. Now, why invest in Edmonton real estate? It's rated as the number 2 best city to invest in real estate in Canada. It's the most affordable major city in Canada, and Edmonton's unemployment rate of 5.8% is the second strongest in the country and is much lower than the national average of 7.2%. The only city with a lower unemployment rate was Calgary at 4.9%. Edmonton's year-over-year residential building permits jumped 77% since February 2011. A 77% increase. This shows how much demand is really going to start to explode. And rents are on the rise and vacancies are on the decline. So guys, how does this all relate together? Well, Edmonton condo rents are on the rise again. Now what does this mean for all us landlords out there? Numbeo.com numbers show us that the rents have increased from $852 a month for a one-bedroom unit to $909 a month in 2012, and from $1,029 a month for a two-bedroom unit in 2011 to $1,159 per month in 2012. This data really shows rental growth demand in Edmonton. So guys, condo vacancies are declining. One-bedroom units decreased from 4.2% to 3.5% in 2011, and two-bedroom units decreased from 3.8% to 2.8%. So what the major point here is, supply and demand always dictates price. The significance of this is the supply of rental properties are decreasing, and when supply decreases, it always drives prices up. So this graph shows us that we are on a trend for increased rental prices and decreased vacancies. This is another sign pointing to a real estate boom. Now guys, this is a great graph provided by Don Campbell of REIN, the Real Estate Investment Network. So for those of you who aren't familiar with REIN, they're one of the largest third-party research firms related to real estate in the country. Joe talks about how good surfers get in front of the wave and ride it all the way through. Bad surfers either miss the wave or get there too late for it to take them anywhere. So the top 2 cities to invest in Canada are Calgary being number 1 and Edmonton being number 2. They also mention how Calgary is number 1 because the wave hits there first, and usually with a 6 to 9 month delay, then hits Edmonton. This is great news for us because it gives us more time to buy properties before the wave hits. So right now we're just coming out of this job growth, population growth section of the graph here in Edmonton, and we are in the perfect position to catch this wave. Edmonton's population growth over the past 50 years. The population growth of Edmonton keeps going up as more and more jobs are being created. 71,900 people moved to Edmonton in 2011 alone. That's about a 9% increase just last year alone. That shows us the population is already starting to absolutely explode. Like, where are all these people going to live? And people were just getting started. So this is Edmonton's proximity to major oil projects. Now, what we have here is, again, the 3 major oil patches in Alberta and where they are located. At 174 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, Alberta is the world's second largest source of oil, next to Saudi Arabia. To put things into perspective for you, this is enough oil to meet Canada's oil demands for 400 years. And did you know that every $1 invested in the oil sands creates about $9 in local economic activity? It's crazy. So it's a little hard to see, but I just wanted to show you just how close Edmonton is to 162 proposed, under construction, and operating massive multi-billion-dollar oil sands projects. So here's Edmonton right here, and what does all this stuff mean? Well, it means Alberta's employment is exploding, and more jobs means more tenants. The solid red line at the top here is the unemployment rate for Canada. The dotted red line is the CMA Canadian average. And look at this. The blue line is Edmonton's unemployment rate. And see how it has been dropping? Well, it means more employees, more jobs, less vacancies. 5% is deemed as full employment, and Edmonton has already surpassed this. An estimated 140,000 jobs are coming to Alberta within the next 2 years alone. Guys, where are all these families going to live? Well, this is the Edmonton single-family house prices from 1962 to January 2012. This is 50 years of price history. Now, if you notice, there are three main lines on the graph. So the blue line is the actual real estate prices. So even though there was a huge swing percentage-wise and a little dip up here, I'll just highlight it for you guys, you can see how we have now leveled off and are in a strong position for an upward move. So this slightly faded red color graph here in the background is the percentage change month over month, and the solid red line is the average over that time. So this shows in 1 month, May of 2007, prices increased 51.7%. The major point here is just to show the craziness that happens during a boom time. And of course, this dotted red line across the middle here is the average rate of appreciation over 50 years, which is 7.4%. So I just want to point something out if you're into technical analysis here. This part of the chart right here. Now, does this pattern look familiar to anybody? Same thing happened in the late 60s, early 70s. It went up, came down, bounced, and then came back even stronger. Now, we are just in the infancy stages of a huge move upward here if you look at the same trend line. Now, this is the Edmonton condo prices from 1987 to January 2012, and that's 25 years of price history here. Again, similar to the last graph we just saw, this graph shows just the condo prices. Now, the red line is the actual price of the condos, with the 2012 average being $234,300. The thick dotted green line, this one here, is the percentage change month over month. And just like the housing chart, we had a huge run up in 2007, a drop below the norm, and now the market is stabilized and we are excellently positioned for another strong move upwards. And the small dotted green line across the middle is the average appreciation of condos over 25 years, which is 6.5% annually. So as you can see, there's seasonal ups and downs, and this is a 25-year snapshot. But from 1987 to 2012, condos have been steadily appreciating at a rate of 6.5% per year. Is it a straight line trend? No. There's going to be ups and downs, but overall, it is an upward trend. So guys, this is the 12-year property appreciation from the year 2000 to the year 2012. And what this is showing is that prices have been appreciating over the past 12 years. Real estate has appreciated almost 14% per year in Edmonton, where in Canada, it is growing by only 9% per year. Edmonton actually outpaced Calgary, and that is mostly because it is still more affordable and there's great paying jobs here. This is over a period of time where there's about 6 years of boom time and about 6 years of declining or stagnant time. So it's actually a really good snapshot in history. But what is really important here is that Edmonton is still affordable in relation to other Canadian cities, and the macroeconomics are still strong for supporting future appreciation and growth. So this compares the property affordability, the mortgage to take-home family income ratio. So I mean, what is this? It's your average monthly mortgage payment divided by your average monthly take-home pay. So in Edmonton, you're only using 28.6% of your paycheck to actually pay for the mortgage. Look at some of these other places like Vancouver. Yikes, over 70% just going towards the mortgage. And pay special attention to Saskatoon because I'm going to mention it again in a couple slides. Over 60% of your take-home pay is going towards the mortgage. But as you can see here, Edmonton and Hamilton are the most affordable major cities in Canada. Hamilton is also a great place in Ontario to invest, and what makes it good is that affordability and disposable income are the two prime fundamental driver of prices and real estate markets, and both Edmonton and Hamilton have those going for them. So basically, this is the same graph, just showing it a slightly different way. It's the house price to income ratio. So basically, it takes 3.6 years on average take-home pay to buy a house in Edmonton compared to 10 years in Vancouver. Now take a look at both affordability and income, and again, Edmonton and Hamilton come out on top. Now, like I said, pay special attention to Saskatoon here, because on the next slide I'm going to show you something pretty interesting. So this shows the price of a house you will buy to the average rents you will receive. What is interesting to note here is that although both Hamilton and Edmonton are low, so is Saskatoon. And even though if you notice on the other graphs, it took almost double the median income to buy a house in Saskatoon, the prices are high, while the rents in Saskatoon are high too, which offsets the high purchase price. It's a bit of an anomaly, but what we wanted to show on this graph was that on average, if you buy a rental property in Edmonton, you will receive your initial investment back in 13.8 years at current rental rates. So of course, what are those rental rates? Well, this compares Edmonton's property incomes across Canada, and these are for downtown one-bedroom apartment rents in the core of the city, and these are average rental amounts from numbeo.com. Edmonton is slightly higher than the Canadian average and has the fourth highest rents in the country for downtown, trailing Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary. And this is what I like to call, guys, the commute and pollute index. So let's talk about the traffic first. With all the new ring road and LRT expansions going on, the commute time in Edmonton is low compared to other major cities. So what is interesting is people don't measure distance in distance anymore, but they measure it in time. Just as an example, ask someone how far they are from work, and I bet you they'll tell you something like 10 minutes, not 8.6 kilometers. So it's good to know what the traffic is like in a city. And speaking from experience myself, I live in the far northwest corner of the city in a suburb, and it used to take me over an hour to get to the international airport, which is just outside the southwest quadrant of the city. Now it takes me 30 minutes flat, even with some traffic. So guys, let's talk about the pollution now. What actually surprised me here was the pollution index. I mean, for the most part, Edmonton is viewed as an industrial city with lots of refining and manufacturing, sort of a blue-collar town. And Calgary's got kind of this hoity-toityness about it, but Edmonton actually has less pollution. And Edmonton is a world leader in recycling and sustainability. So guys, what is the quality of life in Edmonton like? So basically how this chart works is the higher the numbers, the greater the overall quality of life. Indexes at this website, again numbeo.com, are relative to New York City, which means that for New York City each index should be 100. It takes into account affordability, purchasing power, house price to income ratio, air pollution, traffic, and health index. 100 is what New York City is at a baseline, and Edmonton is 205, which means it's over 2 times higher quality of life than New York. And what's interesting to note is that other than what kind of income people are making, quality of life is the second biggest thing people look for when moving to a city. So guys, Edmonton is a city that's constantly developing infrastructure, investing in the communities, and helping businesses expand. A new project that recently got underway is a $755 million Northern LRT expansion. Basically, anyone along these lines will have access from downtown to NAIT, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, and the rest of the city. And this is an excellent framework for future Northwest LRT expansion, heading through the new city center downtown site and eventually out to St. Albert. Now again, Don Campbell of RAIN said that the proximity of within 800 meters of an LRT terminal will increase property values, be easier to rent, and generally provide for easier cash flow. Our building is only about 400 meters away from the 105th Ave terminal, and our residents are going to enjoy access all over the city. So guys, here is McEwen Place, and here's the McEwen LRT terminal. It's going to eventually go up to Kingsway Mall and out to NAIT, the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. So guys, Edmonton has been going crazy over the past few years with the highly controversial topic of this new downtown arena and entertainment super plaza that's going in. In October last year, a $450 million downtown super plaza and arena on 16 acres, built by none other than billionaire Oilers owner Darryl Katz, was approved by the City of Edmonton. The project, which is going to be managed by Icon Venue Group, may have the Oilers facing their new iconic arena by the 2015 hockey season. So the Mayor of Edmonton, Mayor Stephen Mandel, said, "I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to redefine our city." And he spent the last 5 years promoting the project, and now it's finally a go. This is huge for Edmonton. Now, we are right next to this huge growth, and billionaires only invest in stuff that is great. As part of the deal, the Katz Group has to commit $100 million to spark development in the area around the arena, of which $30 million must be invested before construction of the new arena. This is great news for us. This will create a huge inflow of traffic, businesses, and capital, along with expected appreciation in the surrounding areas. I mean, just imagine for a second, even if you just lived a few blocks away yourself, how awesome it would be just to go have dinner, see a game, and even stay overnight. And here's some artistic renderings of what it will look like at a game inside and also set up for a rock concert. It's going to have shopping, hotels, nightclubs, restaurants, casinos, an indoor winter garden, and so much more. Your tenants are going to love it. All right, so we're going to get into a case study here, because whenever you want to look at the impact of what a current project might be, you want to look at other cities that have had similar projects in the past and see what the economic impact was. And then from that, you can extrapolate and extract what the impact will be in Edmonton and our project. So in 1998, San Diego downtown was in rough shape. So the citizens voted in favor of a proposal that called to public funding for a new baseball park. Really similar to Edmonton, it had all kinds of stuff. It included a guarantee of $450 million in new real estate development, and Petco Park opened in 2004 at a cost of $411 million. So by 2006, the investment in real estate developments in the area by the club owner and other private investors totaled $3.5 billion, or more than 9 times the initial public investment. So guys, the really cool thing is here, and just try to imagine this for a second. Our project is only 5 blocks from the Super Plaza, with shopping, bars, restaurants, hotels. I mean, you name it. And here is the real cool part. When you extrapolate these same numbers out to our city and our downtown project, the $450 million used to create the new Oilers Arena should create about $3.8 billion in other private projects and economic benefit in the area around the arena. And again, that's only 5 blocks away from your condos. And think of it in terms of desirability and, of course, price. Guys, same thing happened in LA. To make a long story short, in the late 80s, early 90s, LA's downtown was seen as that unattractive, dangerous place to be. Now, a new vibrant commercial and residential neighborhood was created to breathe new life into downtown, and Staples Center opened in 1999. It cost $375 million and has spawned over 30 private development projects worth $4.7 billion between just now and 2015. This just goes to show you that even after 13 years, more and more money gets spilled into the areas around these huge complexes. So if we want to see the future, we need to take a look at what has happened with similar projects in other downtowns in the past. And these 2 case studies just prove that the same thing will happen to Edmonton. Time and time again, guys. So I wanted to talk about another major project just 10 blocks away. Another major project currently being worked on by Vancouver-based design firm Perkins & Will. It's the redevelopment of 535 acres at the old municipal downtown airport. And this is not a pipe dream. This is totally approved, and in fact, the first shovel is going into the ground on phase 1 late next year, 2013. The nice thing is, with a huge chunk of land like this, it gives us the opportunity to build a second, more modern downtown. The costs to redevelop are estimated at about $204 million, and this is estimated to bring over $1 billion in tax revenue by year 2024. And here it is, guys. It's going to be lots of recreational parks, man-made lakes, multi-residential units, light commercial, and shopping. It's going to contain these things called destination parks, just like this one in the picture. They're so cool with such a great view to downtown. They're going to have man-made lakes, activity centers. It's going to be a great, relaxing, just green place to be. And every great city has a great downtown park. I mean, just look at New York, for example. And this is from the city of Edmonton. This is what they're saying. We are building a world-class community in the heart of Edmonton, demonstrating the very best in architecture, design, and planning, respecting the environment, connected to the city, and enjoyable for everyone. Our vision will take the very best of Edmonton's neighborhoods and put that together with the best ideas from around the world. This is our chance to showcase Edmonton and bring it to the forefront of the world stage in sustainable community development. It will be a huge innovation in the sense of new communities. It's going to house over 30,000 Edmontonians working, learning, and living in a sustainable community that uses 100% renewable energy, is carbon neutral, significantly reduces its ecological footprint, and empowers its residents to pursue a range of sustainable lifestyle choices. So the 7 principles used for the city center master plan include planning and design, ecological footprint, infrastructure, family housing, green space amenities, technology, and history. And the master plan to redevelop the airport is going to, include environmentally sustainable, recreational, modern, transit-oriented, mixed-use developments for 30,000 people. So I've been yammering on and on about this project, guys, but what does this mean for you and for me? Well, it means that Edmonton has a brighter economic future than almost any city of its size in the world. And that's by Ron Gilbertson, President and CEO of the Edmonton Economic Development Corporation. And wow, that's just a great morning shot of Edmonton. So we're going to move on to our great investment opportunity for you now. We're going to show you a short video so you can see firsthand how you can get to virtually everything in the city in a snap from your condos at McEwen Place. In this video, you'll also see for yourself that your McEwen Place condos are located just a few blocks from over $1.41 billion in public infrastructure and private developments. Let me ask you, what kind of impact do you think $1 billion in developments will make on your investment property just blocks away? All right, guys, let's roll camera.
Hey everybody, it's John Schwetz here in front of your condos at McEwen Place. Guess what, guys? The secret is out. Right next door to our building is a $10 million 52-unit project being put up. And you know how great investors always talk about location, location, location? Well, guess what? They're right. And let me tell you why. 1 block over to the south here is Grant MacEwan University. Right next to that, only 5 blocks away to the southeast, is the new $450 million project built by none other than billionaire Oilers owner Darryl Katz. It's the new downtown super plaza and arena. Another 4 blocks away, about a 5-minute walk, is the new light rapid transit system. So your tenants can get anywhere in the city in a snap, including the new downtown core. The redevelopment of 535 acres of the old municipal airport. And what they're doing with this is they're putting in lots of multi-residential parks, green space, transit, sandwiched right in between the new downtown core only 10 blocks away and the old downtown core only 5 blocks away here. Listen to this. Edmonton is poised for the next big Canadian real estate boom. Welcome to your condos at McEwen Place. Hey guys, I'm just here in front of the $10 million 52-unit apartment complex going up right next to McEwen Place condos. And what I wanted to do was do one continuous real-time shoot to show you just how close it is to absolutely everything. So let's go. All right, so we're passing McEwen Place condos here right now. Up ahead is Grant MacEwan University. Now, one thing I'd like to say is one great thing about this area is it attracts really high caliber tenant. And what I mean by that is we get a lot of students as well as young urban professionals working in the downtown core. So up ahead is Grant MacEwan University, and as you know, there's 100,000 students in Edmonton going to 9 world-class post-secondary institutes. doing $500 million of research projects, and Grant MacEwan happens to be just one of them. Just a great looking building, and you know, it took us about what, 1 minute of driving, about 2-minute walk to get here, and boom, you guys are at school. So up ahead at the set of lights here, you can see it's all blocked off with road construction. This is actually where the MacEwan terminal is going for the northern LRT expansion. This is going to be finished in December of 2013, next year. And, you know, 2-minute drive, 4-minute walk, and that's how close you are to absolutely everything. So, you guys, I hate to keep beating a dead horse about this, but I just want it to sink in because it's super important for you guys to know that researchers are saying that Edmonton is the next Canadian city positioned for a huge real estate boom. So you guys, you want to buy some properties before the boom hits. Up here on the left is the site for the new $450 million downtown super plaza built by billionaire Oilers owner Daryl Katz. And it looks like they've already started breaking ground here. I'm not sure if that's for the LRT or for the plaza itself, but it's going to be this entire 15-acre lot, parking lot right here. And guys, that's 15 acres of prime land in the downtown core. It's going to have absolutely everything. I mean, as you can see, we've been driving for about 2 minutes now. This is about a 6-minute walk from your condos at MacEwan Place. And that's how close you are to absolutely everything.
Okay, that was a great video. So now I want to talk about MacEwan Place. So it was recently updated with brand new sliding doors all the way around, modern glass balconies, and new windows in 2010. Low maintenance laminate and tile flooring in the units, and updated kitchen, and lots of parking. So I just want to talk about what's going on right next door. There's a $10 million 52-unit condo complex going up right next to ours. This just goes to show you that other sophisticated real estate investors have caught on to this area too, and are cashing in on the inevitable impact of the $1.4 billion in nearby infrastructure and developments. And after talking to appraisers, they said that almost every time a new building like this goes in, it brings up the appreciation in the surrounding areas. So here's your investment at MacEwan Place. So as you can see here, that the interior of all the units are attractive and spacious. They're well renovated 1 and 2 bedroom condos featuring new glass balconies, newer exterior facade, windows, low maintenance laminate flooring, tile flooring, neutral paint colors throughout, and an updated kitchen. Now the rental demand is strong in the area, especially among student and professional demographic, due to its close proximity to downtown, tons of amenities, the new LRT station, and of course Grant MacEwan University. So this is a satellite view of MacEwan Place, and as you can see here, the building sits on a good sized lot with a large parking space for all 16 units in the rear. You're situated on a quiet tree-lined street in the heart of all the action with a low amount of through traffic. Your tenants will be very happy in the serene downtown setting. Now we have your MacEwan Place condos here, the new MacEwan LRT station terminal, which will be completed December 2013, the new downtown super plaza site, and of course Grant MacEwan University. Now here you can see that although the building's in a quiet location, it's just a few steps away from everything. Just a short 1 block south is Grant MacEwan University. 4 blocks to the southeast, where you see that yellow arrow, is the new northern LRT expansion. This is going to give your tenants access almost anywhere in the city in just a couple minutes. And 5 blocks to the southeast is the border of the new downtown super entertainment complex. Now, this is a great scale shot to show you just how close our building is in relation to these few major projects. So this green outline here is the redevelopment of the old municipal airport into the new downtown site. This dotted yellow line is the new light rail transit route that's going in. The big yellow and red X here is your condos at MacEwan Place. The orange outline in the bottom left here is Grant MacEwan University, and the purple outline is this new downtown super plaza site. So you can really see when you zoom out how all these projects tie together. I mean, the new arena, the expansion of the LRT, and how it connects them to the new municipal airport downtown site. I mean, guys, just imagine being about a 20-minute walk, a 5-minute drive, or a 3-minute LRT ride to some of the most hottest places to be in the city. And what do you think that all of this is going to do to the desirability for tenants and for the valuations for your condos at McEwen Place? So here we are, guys. This is the proven real estate boom formula by Don Campbell, president of REIN. So here you have it, proof that we are in front of the next wave by one of the most well-respected independent Canadian real estate researchers. You want to buy some properties here and not wait till it's too late like most people do. Right now, we're in, like I said before, we're coming out of this job growth, population growth stage in Edmonton, and we're in the perfect position to catch this wave. I was recently talking to a landlord of a large building, 100 units, and he said 2 years ago he had a vacancy rate of 20% in his apartment building, but now it's down to virtually zero. He has seen a huge increase in demand for rental units, and our team has heard similar stories time and time again in recent months while doing our due diligence on investing in Edmonton. When we were here in the past, increased rental demand section of the graph, the rents were going up over 16% in 1 year. Now, we expect that to start happening again. And that's why I'm showing you this graph again and beating a dead horse over it. So guys, when you know exactly where to be to catch the wave, catching the wave is easy. So let's be good surfers, guys, and ride this next big wave all the way to the bank. But, you know, once your brother, mother, neighbor, and friends are talking about how much their home went up in value, then it is too late. Then you've missed the boom. Sadly, that's what happens when the masses buy and they get hurt. Like this poor surfer dude, it's not really his fault. He just wasn't plugged into the kind of invaluable information that you're getting here. So guys, did you meet your real estate investing goals last year or the year before? Just ask yourself, honestly. Well, if you said no, you're not alone. It's what 94.3% of Canadian real estate investors said in a recent poll. And did you know the top 3 reasons they gave for failing? Well, I'll tell you. They said they didn't have enough time, number 1. They said they're confused and inexperienced. And lastly, and worst, they said they're afraid of their fears, guys. The fears of making a bad investment, their fears of bad tenants, their fears of vacancies, and their fears of values dropping. So, like Joseph Campbell said, the cave you fear most to enter contains the greatest treasure. Well, imagine if you could just magically snap your fingers and make your obstacles that hold you back and stop you from ever getting ahead in real estate investing just absolutely vanish. Well, that's our goal. We know if we can't make it easier for you to invest and own real estate, you're not going to buy from us. That's why all our investment opportunities are created with your success and your peace of mind as our primary goals. Our investment opportunities are as close to done for you investing as you can get when you own the property outright. So here's a quick summary of what we bring to the table for you. We research the best Canadian cities to invest in that are poised for rapid appreciation. We find you select properties in great locations to maximize your upside. We set up rental warranty programs for each property so that you have the security of knowing you'll get paid rent even if your tenant moves out. We have rental pools from years 4 and onwards to reduce your vacancy headaches. We educate you on how to sell your property for profits by rent to own right after you buy it from us. We provide ongoing educational support to help ensure your success as a buy, hold, and prosper real estate investor. And saving the best for last, good old property management. Did you know having a great property management in place makes or breaks most real estate investors? Well guys, because we have been property managers ourselves for decades, we understand that having the best proven experienced property management can make or break your investment or you. Our property management mantra is a happy tenant is your best asset, and we only hire property managers that also follow that management commitment. We go to the nth degree to make absolutely sure that you have the very best property management out there, looking after your investment. Now, to find what we believe is Edmonton's best property management on your McEwen Place condo. We scoured the city, and when doing our due diligence, we checked under their fingernails. We actually contacted 9 of their client references, and all of them had nothing but amazing things to say about DMG Property Management. Don, the owner, has been doing property management for 12 years. They have over 500 doors and over 300 clients, and an in-house maintenance team. They have seen it all. Our property managers are pros at doing all the work for you. Advertising that works, screening applicants, collecting rents, doing maintenance, and even taking tenants to the dispute board when needed. So, with our done-for-you strategy, you can kick back and relax knowing you're in great hands. You can invest in real estate with no more tenants, toilets, and trash keeping you up at night. We do all the heavy lifting for you, so you can simply just enjoy your life. So basically, what I want to go through right now is a rental warranty program. So I'm going to first explain how the rental pool works. So in this example, we will use year 1, 1-bedroom condo numbers. But for this example, let's use only 5 units because I'm not going to fit 16 on the screen here. So for a second, let's just pretend that this is only a 5-unit condo building, but in reality, remember, we have 16 condos all contributing to the same rent pool. So basically, we will still be using the rental pool, but for the first 4 years, we'll have a rental warranty program in place. Over $45,000 of our money set aside in trust to make sure you get your full warranted rent amount. Alright, I'm going to go through this step by step so you can understand. So condo number 1 collects $965 in rent. Condo 2 collects $965, condo 3 collects $965, condo 4, oh no, your unit is vacant. One of the biggest worries when investing in income producing real estate is what if you have a month where you have to cover the mortgage? Okay, so condo number 4 made nothing in rent this month. What are we going to do? Condo number 5 collects $965. So it all goes into the rental pool for a total of $38.60, and our rental warranty program will fund the $965 shortfall so that all owners will receive their $965 rent even though there is a vacancy. So we are setting over $45,000 in trust to make sure this program lasts and all our investors' income is protected. Guys, we are passionate about helping people create wealth through real estate. That is why we are offering this for 4 years, to really help you chip away at that principal, make sure you aren't out of pocket, and set you up for success. How often do you get an opportunity to buy income-producing real estate with the 4-year warranty on the income? Okay, so some of you might be saying, okay, but what happens after 4 years? Well, I'll tell you, it's just like the last example. Let's pretend there's only 5 condos contributing to the pool. This is what happens after 4 years. So again, 965, 965, condo 3, 965, condo 4 is vacant for this example, and condo 5 collects 965. So what happens in the rental pool is that the $38.60 gets collected from the 4 units that are rented, but checks are actually made out to all 5 owners equally. Now, which means for this month, everyone will get a check for $772. Now, when they are all rented, all of the rent is collected by the property manager and goes into the rental pool account and is distributed equally to all of the owners. So even though your unit might be vacant, everyone shares the vacancy evenly. So you're guaranteed to still have money coming in. $772 instead of $965 for this particular example in this month. So what is great about this is you have money coming in every single month. How awesome is it that you have the peace of mind and you know you're going to have money coming in every single month? Okay, the benefits of our rental pool program. So, what are they? 4-year rental warranty program means you get a full rent check every month whether you've got a tenant or not. Rental pool program kicks in from years 5 and beyond to reduce the burden of vacancies, and top-notch property management in place so you can sleep like a baby. So we strive to provide you stable long-term rental income with no hassles for you. What better way to do that than lower your risks with our rental warranty program? Our goal is to make investing a no-brainer for you. So guys, why invest in McEwen Place condos? Well, here's your unique investment benefits. It's a 43% cash-on-cash return per year. And guys, I'm not kidding, and I'll show you how in just a few slides. Hang tight. We've got a 4-year rental warranty program. We make sure there's a tenant on place on closing, or we pay you. We are putting over $45,000 in trust to make sure you get your guaranteed rent, putting our money where our mouth is. Well, units are also under rented, providing instant cash flow increases. So according to CMHC, average rents are almost $100 higher than what these units are currently being rented for. We've got proven property management in place. And guys, Edmonton is my backyard. And even though there's a property manager in place, I will be checking up on them and making sure they are doing their job. Now, the rental pool increases your cash flow security and minimizes your risk. A rental pool program means that even if your unit is vacant, you still get paid. Everyone is sharing in the profits and the costs. But remember, you are warranted your full rent for 4 years. So we are really taking the anxiety, hassle, and worry out of investing in real estate. We are putting our money where our mouth is, and I mean, what is your risk if your rent is warranted in an appreciating market? Well, this is your secure, done-for-you passive investment, guys. Catch the wave. So one other thing I wanted to show you is the appraisal report. We got this appraisal done in the middle of April, and the reason we got these appraisals was to ensure everyone was getting a great value and that the investment made sense. So this is a snapshot of what the appraiser used to determine the value of your condos at McEwen Place. The value was $149,000 for a one-bedroom, and these are all one-bedroom condos in the same neighborhood. Now keep in mind, these are sold comparables, not just listings. And it's super important when looking at values to look at what has actually sold, in a similar size in the same area. So let's take a look at these comparables from the appraisal. The first one sold for $134,000, about 7 blocks north. Second one sold for $155,000, about 6 blocks north. And the last one they used to compare sold for $163,000, just 2 blocks north. Now, we wanted to show you this to give you an idea of what properties in the direct vicinity to yours are selling for, and a copy of the full appraisals would be available with the pro forma. All comparables easily support the $149,000 valuation. Alright guys, so let's get into a little bit of a real estate education. And no, I'm not going to bore you to death. I just want to demonstrate how true real estate investors view returns. Are you guys ready to go back to school with me for just a few minutes? Alright, let's do it. So start right at the basics. There is good debt and bad debt. And keep in mind, it's a simplistic and powerful way of looking at investing, and it's only looking at cash flow. Good debt is when you borrow money that pays for itself and generates a return. So in other words, it puts money in your pocket each month. Bad debt is borrowing money that doesn't pay for itself. It takes money out of your pocket each month. So I have a little bit of a trick question for you to rattle your brain a little bit. What do you think your home is, good debt or bad debt? It's actually bad debt. Think about it. It costs you money every month to live there. It doesn't put money in your pocket. Now this doesn't make it a bad investment, but it isn't good debt. You build wealth by accumulating good debt, and real estate investors make money in 3 main ways. They are cash flow, mortgage paydown, and appreciation. Cash flow and mortgage paydown put money in your pocket every single month. Appreciation is the longer term icing on the cake. So we just want you to understand just how these double-digit returns work. True investors avoid the stock market because you have no leverage. And what I mean by that is if you invest $1 in stocks, you typically have to pay $1 out of your pocket for it. But when you buy real estate, for each dollar of real estate you might buy, you might only have to put 20 cents down. So let's take a look at how leverage works for you at your McEwen Place condo investment. Okay, so when doing a budget, you need to outline how you're doing the calculations. So we were super diligent and conservative when doing these numbers, including absolutely everything. So the reserve fund is prepaid in year 1 only by the developer, us. Expenses increase at a rate of 2% each year. Property appreciates at a total rate of 6.5% each year. Repair and maintenance are estimated at 5% of gross rents per year. Management is estimated at 7% of gross rents per year. Vacancy rate set at Edmonton's CMHC average of 3.5% for year 1. Vacancy rate set at 2% for years 2 to 5 during the rental pool and the warranty program. Budgeted expenses based off current rent and a 5% increase per year of rent deemed collectible, not the rental warranty amount. So the 30-year mortgage amortization used to calculate mortgage payments, and rents increase to CMHC average market rents at month 6. Cash on cash returns include the capital appreciation. All right, so hang with me. Here's the numbers we are using. Purchase price of $149,000. Down payment is $29,800. Mortgage amount is $119,200. The current interest rate is about 3.39% at the banks. I hear you may be able to get cheaper. Your payment will be $526.41 per month at this rate. You've got an annual rent increase of 5% per year and an annual expense increase of 2%. The current rent for the first year is actually right now $800 per month. But with the rental warranty amount, we're actually paying you $965 a month in year 1. Your legal fees on closing will be about $850, as well as the appraisal fee for $300 to get an appraisal for your unit. Appreciation is set at the average 25-year average of 6.5%. CMHC average vacancy for the one bedrooms at 3.5%. And once it is stabilized, it should decrease. So for years 2 to 5, we are budgeting 2%. So let's get right into these numbers. All right, now some of you are probably thinking, whoa, that's a lot to take in. Well, I'm going to go over it thoroughly, and everyone who fills out an application form will get a hard copy of these in our disclosure booklet. We want people to have peace of mind when investing with us, and that is why we are very transparent and showing all expenses. Other development companies might only use condo fees, taxes, management, and the mortgage in the expenses, but being property owners ourselves, we know that there can be so much more. Alright, so I will just go through year 1 because there's so much to go through here. Now, the current annual rent with our rental warranty program is $11,580. Now, the rental warranty program is to ensure you're not out of pocket any amount for 4 years. But remember, we are essentially paying your mortgage down with this program as well. Property taxes are averaged at about $66.56 per month or $798 per year. The reserve fund contribution is prepaid in year 1 by the developer. And that's for things like the long-term maintenance of the building, like stuff like the boiler, the roof, etc. Condo fees on average are $221 a month or $2,600 per year. Property income insurance is $20 a month or about $240 a year. And repair and maintenance is estimated at $480. This is for things like broken fridges, stoves, etc. If you don't use this, it just adds to your bottom line. Vacancy, again, $336. Now, it's in the budget, but if it's not used, it goes straight to your pocket. And a management expense of only 7%. This brings your total operating expenses to $5,187 per year. And your net operating income is about $6,392 per year. Now, one thing to remember is that every month you make your mortgage payment, that mortgage gets paid down. And over the mid to long term, you can build huge returns and wealth just from this one thing alone. So let's look at the profits for year 1 only again. So the cash flow is estimated at $45. The mortgage pay down is $2,340. The appreciation at the 25-year average of 6.5% is $9,685. So this gives you a total of $12,070.89, and that's a 39% cash-on-cash return on your initial investment. Now, we anticipate with a 5-year exit strategy, this is what your numbers are going to look like. So the value in 5 years, based on the 6.5% average appreciation, is $204,000. Your mortgage balance at this time will be $106,671. If you sold, your total sales proceeds would be $97,471. Cash flow of $190 minus, of course, your closing costs, which we're estimating at about $1,000. Paying yourself back your 20% down payment of $29,800. Well, your total net profits are $66,862. $66,862 in total profits for an estimated 216% cash-on-cash return over 5 years, or 43.2% return per year. Whoa. All right. So guys, I'm just going to flash these up on the screen for you to look at. I'm not going to go through them all again because the 2-bedroom numbers are very similar to the ones. The major change is that the vacancy rate for the 2 bedrooms is actually a little bit smaller. So if you want, I'm going to leave the slides on the screen for about 5 seconds. You could just pause and go through the numbers yourself. So here we go. Assumptions. These are the McEwen Place condos budget projection variables for the 2 bedrooms. It's the McEwen Place 2-bedroom budget projections. And the, of course, profits and cash-on-cash return in the 2 bedrooms. And you'll see that the percentage return is almost exactly the same, but you actually are projected to make a little bit more money. So, there you have it. Guys, why invest in a McEwen Place condo? This is the 5-year profit breakdown for a 1-bedroom. So let's take a little bit of a look at how we actually make money here, because over the mid to long term you can make a huge difference to your net worth and your lifestyle. So the original purchase price on a 1-bedroom is $149,000. So after 5 years, your mortgage balance or the money left owing on the condo is $106,671. So for these 5 years, your tenants have been paying your mortgage down. This has net you roughly $12,528 in mortgage pay down. You also put down some of your own money, $29,800, so this is included in the equity you will have. And at the Edmonton 50-year average of 6.5% appreciation, this will net you $55,142 after 5 years. So your value after 5 years is about $204,143. So what is your total equity after only 5 years? Well, it's $97,471. So just ask yourself this: where do I see myself in 5 years with this much equity at one of these properties? How does your life look? Does it seem a little less stressed? Maybe take that extra vacation with the family, or do what I might do and buy a new car? Only you can make this happen. So let me give you a brief overview. Guys, these are the benefits of investing with us. You're buying into the next boom. It's located near $1.416 billion in real estate developments. It's got a 4-year rental warranty program, a rental pool for years 4 and after. You're working with experienced professionals. And like I said, Dawn with DMG Asset Management is awesome. We have a team of mortgage brokers, lawyers, appraisers, contractors, and property manager. They're all working as a well-oiled team dedicated to your success. There's top-notch property management in place, and you are the title owner and have full control over your investment. So you're in the driver's seat, sell when you want. There's no restrictions on when or how you handle your investment. So you saw that McEwen Place is in a hot area of Edmonton, within a short walk to over $1.4 billion worth of new state-of-the-art facilities. Not only is this building beautifully located in the city, but also positioned just before the wave. And I'm sure you've always heard of location, location, location. This applies to not just the physical location, but where we are in the real estate wave cycle as well. So in summary, we are selling them at appraised values in a great area of Edmonton, and we are beautifully positioned just before the wave. With your 20% down of $29,800 and $1,150 closing costs, your total projected profit after 5 years is $66,862. Now, that's 216% cash on cash return. We want to help everyday people just like yourself get financially free. Equity builds steadily over time. You got to ask yourself, what are my goals? Do you think that 1 or 2 of these units might help you achieve those? How would your life change for the better? So here's the numbers for the 2-bedroom. Like before, I'm just going to quickly flash them up on the screen here so you guys can have a look at it. Your return on the 2 bedrooms is almost essentially the exact same. You're just projected to make a little bit more money with a slightly higher down payment and purchase price. So whether you want more info or you already know you want to buy one of our condos at McEwen Place, go to www.nomoneydownmentor.com/deals. You may delay, but time will not. And once we receive your details, one of our team will contact you to answer all your questions and walk you through our process to buying a condo right in front of the next big boom. Now, as our thank you, taking the time out of your busy day to consider doing business with us, we'd like to give you a couple of great bonuses. Simply go to www.nomoneydownmentor.com/VIP and here's what you'll get. Number 1, more insider secrets of wealthy real estate investors. Number 2, a 1-year complimentary membership to our exclusive VIP investors. And number 3, you'll get priority notices of all our deals immediately as they become available. And as an additional bonus for signing up today, we'll give you another premium VIP service. Now let me explain. Our no money down deals fly off the shelf in no time flat, and many investors unfortunately get left out. So we created our no money down VIP client premium service, giving you first crack at all our best no money down deals. The cost for these VIP services is $47 per month. But when you sign up today, we're going to comp you for your entire first year. And just so you know, the reason we do that is because our philosophy is to earn your respect and trust first by providing you with a ton of real value for free. To give you a chance to get to know us and see what we're all about so you can make a totally informed decision when we present you with our next exceptional investment opportunity. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is John Schwetz.